So my name's Christine. I'm from Brisbane, born and raised. I'm 31 years old, and creatively, yeah, I pretty much like all the creative sort of things. So I've done a bit of photography, do some modelling. I like to make costumes sometimes, and write, draw, paint if I can. I'm terrible at it, but yeah, everything creative is pretty good. I started modelling when I was about 19 years old. So that would have been about 12 years ago now. So getting a little bit on now. But yeah, sort of just on and off here and there. I don't even know. So when I think about it, why did I become a model? I think I was about 18, 19, and I'm not even sure. I think I was always quite the shy sort of type, and yeah, I don't know. I think maybe once I actually left high school and I started actually getting a bit more attention, and maybe I got a bit of confidence from that, and sort of something wanted to come out of me a little bit more. So yeah, sort of sought out a few agencies and things and started that way, and just one thing led to another, and you work with one person and they have this wonderful idea. And so I took a bunch of years off, and then I went back and did an old bespoke wedding expo, and the makeup artist there was just like, oh, you're the perfect face for this shoot that I want to do. And she wanted to do this Ophelia shoot with another photographer that she liked and that she worked with. So I went and did a shoot with them, and then they came up with this entire concept of a shoot after seeing me, and ran with that and didn't even do Ophelia at all. It was all this dance-based thing, and then things just took off from there. So one thing just led to the next, really. The type of modelling I do most, I generally prefer more of the fashion-y sort of stuff. I'm starting to do a little bit of the art nude sort of thing as well. But yeah, generally more fashion things I like. Tips for models starting out. I guess just know what you want to do and what you want to get out of a shoot. So take your own ideas along, know what you're comfortable with, and I guess just be assertive as well. So if there's something that you're not comfortable with, definitely be vocal about it. The photographer may not know that you're not comfortable with it, so it's not even that they're a seedy person. Like, they just may have an idea in their head that you're not understanding, or vice versa. So I think, yeah, just know where your boundaries are, know what you want out of things, and just, yeah, make sure you communicate properly. So the way I actually did my training is I actually found an agency through a newspaper back in the day that, you got job ads out of newspapers 12 years ago. So a bit of a complicated story, but I started working with a guy that ran an agency, or he claimed that he was starting an agency, and he'd come up from Adelaide. So his way of teaching models was to basically send them home with a bunch of magazines. So you learn out of the magazines, you look at their facial expressions, look at their poses. He'd make you work on a set repertoire of facial expressions. You should be able to smile, you should be able to pout, you should be able to give an attitude look, all of these things on demand that you should be able to do. And then just, yeah, sort of work with, after that, just literally working in the mirror. A lot of people are sort of scared of looking in a mirror. People are like, how do you know how to do a facial expression? How do you know how to pose? You need to look in the mirror and work out what actually works for you and how something looks when you do something. And that's literally the way you learn, really. I think it's important to do both TFP and also actually hiring a proper professional photographer as well. I think definitely TFP, you're going to get a lot more experimentation. It's actually a good way of networking as well. So, I mean, the people that you're working TFP with, they might just be starting out as well, but you don't know where they're going to go either. They may be amazing in a couple of years, and then you've still got that really good contacts as well, and get some great shots with them down the track. You may also get some quite average stuff working at TFP, because obviously everybody's learning in that environment. By paying a proper professional photographer, you're going to get quality, you're going to get somebody that knows what they're doing, knows how to work with a model, and can direct you as well if you need assistance. I have no idea. So I guess if finding a professional photographer, just basically look at their work, look at their portfolios, get on Instagram, get on their websites, ask people, get on some of the Facebook groups and ask for recommendations. People will recommend people that they've worked with and love their work. That's the best way, is just look at shots that you like the look of, really, and then, yeah, go from there. Yeah, I think it's definitely comes back down to communication. If you're not feeling secure, don't go into an environment that you're not feeling safe in. So if you don't get a good vibe from somebody and they're saying, look, we're going to shoot in the studio at my house, and you're like, I don't trust this guy, this is dodgy, then look, take somebody else. Ask if you can, take a friend or a partner or even a parent with you or anything. Yeah, if you're not feeling secure, don't do it. Even outdoor spaces, like just go shoot in public somewhere where there's going to be other people around. That's the best way. I think, again, for a photographer to communicate with the model is the most important thing. Again, you may have an idea in your head that sounds like a great idea to you, but to a model it may not come across the same way. So I think it's particularly if you've never worked with that model before, yeah, it's definitely important to sort of start slowly and don't immediately say, look, I want to do this particular thing. So, look, I'll tell the story of our first shoot. And I think you had an idea in your head of wanting to shoot something else that these photos looked incredible, but it wasn't something that I was comfortable with. So I said, hey, can we come up with this, happy medium? We'll shoot it here instead of there or something. Like, I think I was not comfortable with, walking in a crowd in a little tiny skimpy outfit or something. And so we worked around that and we communicated, and I said, look, can we do this instead? And now look at us, like I'm shooting with like nothing on now, and it's fine because we've got that level of trust. I think it's, just, it may take a few shoots to get comfortable with somebody. So I think, it's just don't always think that you've got to jump straight in, and make sure you're sort of meeting somebody on their level as well. I think, it definitely comes back to how you feel at the time. So it's hard to say that generically that, if someone's looking at you without the camera, that's a bad thing. For some, it may be that they're literally just looking at you, like picturing the light, but if they're looking at you and like, hey, like, it depends how they're looking at you and how you feel about that. If you're not comfortable with it, like, it's definitely a communication thing. So to say to a photographer to not be creepy, just keep in mind what you're doing at all times. If you're working with a model that she may not have a lot of clothes on even, definitely, basically the less she's wearing, the less you touch her. Even, yeah, exactly, like be respective of your model. That's the most important thing, is to make them feel comfortable, because, primarily you're not going to get any decent shots if your model's not comfortable. If she's there feeling creepy, she's going to be like, I'm just going to hide everything, and you will not get a good shot. You want a confident model that's comfortable in where she is. Working with new photographers, I guess having a history of being a photographer myself, I guess I kind of want to also tell them, just fake it till you make it, really. Like, a lot of the time, it's just making your model feel confident. So if you look at your camera and you're like, yeah, that's awesome, then you're like, yeah, cool, like I've got a cool shot coming out. If you're looking at your camera going like, I don't know, this isn't quite working, and then they're going like, I don't know what to do now. And so I think it's very much fake it till you make it. Make sure you're talking. Do communicate with your model. If you're just standing there not telling them what to do, they don't really know what to do. Like, give them some direction. Say, yeah, that's great, or say, can you move just this little way, that way, or just kind of keep on talking to them. Even if you don't know what you're doing, try something. It's very difficult to work with a silent photographer. I've been pretty lucky, so I haven't had any home studios that I've felt uncomfortable with. So trying to think back to it now, if there's any. Yeah, I guess it's knowing where your exits are a thing as well. But luckily I haven't had any that I've felt trapped or uncertain in. I had a pretty bad story, but I don't know whether it's really photographers such as them or the personality. So it was that one that I told you, the guy that was starting his agency, and he gave me my start in modelling, and I was going to partner with him in an agency, and so he taught me photography as well. He taught me how to use a camera, so I started shooting models for that agency, but it definitely got out of hand. He wanted something more that I didn't want, and I was only 19 at the time. Didn't really, know how to say no at the time, and things got out of hand, and then it it definitely developed into an obsession on his part and actually ended up with police coming to my house, him coming into my house when there was nobody else home, being in my house at night. So, yeah, it definitely got way, way out of hand. So I don't know whether that's really tied back to the same thing or if it's just how it started. But, yeah, that was a big ordeal.
So you never had a problem with it before?
Other than that, no. I can't think of anything where I've had a bad experience, really. Yeah. So far, so good.